Hello, everybody. Just like America has Dr. Birx and Dr. Fauci and others to educate the wider public on the corona crisis, so does Germany have a number of specialists that are usually presented to the public as the most eminent voices right now. And one of them, Alessandro Kekulé, was fired as a professor from his university, the Martin Luther Universität or Martin Luther University or University of Halle, the city of Halle. And what's quite noteworthy about his dismissal is its aggressive nature. First, it was a preliminary dismissal, vorläufige Amtsenthebung, which sounds like there is a come around. He will be able to continue or whatever. It's something that may be fixed. But it's actually worse than if it were just fired on the spot. This is only conducted during investigations into an affair when the other party is pretty sure that he is not only going to lose his job, but also everything that was attached to his civil servant status. University professors at public universities in Germany usually have a civil servant status. It comes with a pension scheme that usually comes with workplace protections, including against dismissal. If all of this is likely to be stripped off of the person, that is when they have this preliminary dismissal issued, and he will not be allowed back into the building. He will not be allowed to give any lessons anymore. Secondly, the way it was broken to the public is very aggressive. The letter was written to 50 people in the hospital complex of the university, and the letter was written by the medical director Thomas Muester and the dean of the medical faculty Michael Gekle. And in that letter, they did not actually specify the accusations against Alexander Kekulé, but they announced that they support the president's actions against their colleague. And I think that is quite a chilling development. It reminds me of how the East German people were thrown out of the ruling party, for example, in order to demote them from their positions, because usually when something is politically motivated, they never ever say it's politically motivated. What people say instead is that somebody came late, that he did not fulfill his duties properly, etc., etc. They have all kind of pretexts to go after somebody, except for saying, okay, this is done for political reasons. It is very important now in these transformative times to understand how these situations work, because if some pretext is used against some other person, it won't be forever racism. You know, they will find something else occasionally, and maybe it's more difficult to detect. As I said, in East Germany, they usually said, oh, somebody came a bit late, somebody did not fulfill his duties. And I think it is important to understand that, yes, even if the accusation is true, that does not mean that somebody should actually be punished as harsh as, the ledger allows. And I also want to remind you that this may be just the latest case of a series of similar events against, high-profile, intelligent, highly educated professionals. For example, there was Tim Hunt, the Nobel Prize winner for medicine, for cancer research, indeed. He made a joke about how he met his wife, and feminists became crazy over it. Then there was Shirtgate. Matt Taylor appeared with a garish shirt, and also feminists took him down, or at least they didn't actually take him down, but they created a storm going after him. And then there was Alessandro Strumia. The story is too little known. He made an analysis of a database, tried to figure out how many women could be discriminated in the fields of physics, and he came to the rather opposite conclusion that if anything, women are privileged, are helped a bit more than their male colleagues, and that led to protests. So this may be a purge, an intellectual purge that we see right now. Small things are used to dismiss colleagues, and I think it's telling if somebody writes a letter to 50 colleagues saying little more, but he is supporting the action of the authority against the colleague. I mean, that's very nasty development. The official accusation against Alexander Kekulé is that he did not give enough lessons, that he did not fulfill the hours as a teaching in the teaching function of his professorship. Of course, he also has a research function, but he did not quite live up to the hours that he is supposed to do, that he is assigned to. Now you have to understand that professors assign to teaching jobs at the very beginning of a semester, and they are expected, of course, then to follow through. However, he has no option to pull out something new when he is unable to deliver certain classes. So what happened was there was a lockdown, and he could not give a practical laboratory class during lockdowns. The teaching obligations are still continuous during our current crisis, but teachers are expected to give online lessons, like Zoom calls or whatever, online lessons instead. Now, this is not possible if your assignment is the practical laboratory class, obviously, and therefore he filled up a form incorrectly. That's one thing he has conceded, and this may be now the starting point for an investigation, and they have reacted so harshly that it's likely that he's losing his status, his civil servant status, and his professorship. The important thing you have to remember is that such dismissals are usually targeting one person in a situation that affects all the colleagues as well. And I'm pretty sure that a lot of professors could not live up to their teaching obligations as they would have if it were not for the lockdowns. But it was only that the university goes after him. Of course, I don't know names of other colleagues that may also not have fulfill their obligations completely, etc. But he was working, and he was on radio all the time. He was on television all the time. He was having a podcast on WDR. I'm not sure if that will be shelved or if that's going to continue. So he was very publicly teaching his matters. And obviously he is fulfilling, or was doing his best to fulfill his obligations, and he is not a slouch. He's most certainly not a slouch. Now, Mr. Kekulé believes that it is politically motivated, and he is going to take legal actions against the university, but he thinks it's on a low-key issue, namely that he, like a lot of scientists, asked for more money for their department. Now, that may have played a role. It may have disgruntled others who are envious, see him on the talk shows all the time, and think they are having less money allotted to them if he gets his share. Envy and all of these human dynamics may have played a role in all of these events, be it the dismissal of Jewish scientists during the Nazi era, and this may be a standard human drive that may have taken him down. But outside of he gets more money than I do, and whatever may play a human role in this, there may have also been broader political issues, and that is that Mr. Kekulé is largely on the government authority, WHO side, when it comes to the corona policies. But there were some important deviations, I believe. And one is that he had implied that it is a surprise that we have vaccinations for a variant, the Wuhan variant, and we had it very quickly, but we don't have one against the Delta variant. So we have, just this old vaccine, and we are not getting any upgrades from the pharma industry. This is very suspicious from his point of view, and he has warned about this. The second one is that this drive to get everybody vaccinated was sometimes incentivized by telling people that the vaccine works better than it actually does. It means that people do not take other precautions like opening the window, and, keeping some distance, whatever other precautions, because they felt more protected than they actually are. I also may add that our advisory board for corona matters, our government advisory board for corona matters, the STIKO it's called, they have issued a recommendation that we should get boosted after 3 months. 3 months. Now, I wonder how long this is going to be upheld, because I personally don't want to get vaccinated every 3 months. And I think a lot of people don't really want to get vaccinated every 3 months. This is a troubling development because the side effects that are already studied were all just, established for one shot. Now, the risk of a vaccine is not identically independently distributed as a random variable. What it means is, I don't believe that your first jab carries the same risk as your 40th or 50th jab, and every 3 months sounds like you do a lot to your body. Getting the vaccination every 3 months means that you are running into high numbers very quickly, and this exposes us to a high risk. And I want actually to have an open discussion about the usefulness of such a regime and the frequency we are expected to get, and so on. I also want to protect people who decide to opt out completely and say their immune system can handle, or they have it already, they have been infected already, and they believe they can handle it. Whatever their motivations are, I believe that people should be free to decide all of this. And I find it astounding that people, the less they know, the more they want to dictate others what the others have to do. We don't know what happens when we are getting jabbed every 3 months. We don't know. The WHO does not know. Nobody knows. It's when we talk about long-term effects, we don't mean you get a jab once and 20 years later you are, I don't know, how you have a second head grown out of your shoulder because of it. No, we actually mean that if you get a vaccine every 3 months, then your body will react, and nobody knows the consequences. And as long as we don't know, we don't force stuff on other people. And as long as we don't know, we actually want open discussions and not witch hunts against high-profile medical specialists. Thank you for listening, and I'll see you soon. Bye.